This is 18 Global News. First, the headlines. Rivers Assembly receives petitions, considers a climate change bill. Court fixes dates for judgment in Kanu's terrorism trial. Tinubu rejects intimidation amid global Christian genocide claims. NECA supports 15% fuel import tariff to boost local refining. Iran condemns Israeli strikes on Lebanon, urges global action. Boniface addresses Super Eagles' struggles, reaffirms commitment to Nigeria. Omaomi speaks on relationships with Dagreen, Dr. Fraps. Rivers State House of Assembly today, Friday, November 7, 2025, received two petitions from host communities against energy companies before giving first reading to the Rivers State Climate Change Bill 2025, signaling a renewed legislative push to address environmental and social challenges in the state. Our 18 correspondent, Johnson Wali, completes this report.
The Rivers State House of Assembly today, Friday, November 7, 2025, received two petitions from host communities against energy companies before giving first reading to the Rivers State Climate Change Bill 2025 HE1. The first petition from Omohia community in Ikure local government area protested the unfair termination of community contractors by Hairs Energies Limited. It was presented to the House by the Honorable Prince Lemchi Nyechi, who represents Ikure State constituency.
Mr. Speaker, with me is a petition from Omohia community in the Ibuta, local government area of Rivers State. Mr. Speaker, by that, I think Omohia is in my constituency. Omohia community is the host community to OML 17, acquired by SPDC, by share, and then Hairs Energy Limited in 2021 also acquired same OML from share, and today Hairs Energy is operating in that community.
The second petition from Bidera community in Gokana local government area accused Renaissance African Energy Limited Company of leg nets following an oil spill caused by equipment failure along the Ogele-Bomo pipeline. The petition was presented by the Deputy Speaker, Right Honorable Dulemo, who represents Gokana State constituency.
Mr. Speaker, this morning I bring a petition, I write to present a petition against the Renaissance Africa Energy Company Limited. Mr. Speaker, the petition is brought by the Forum, but I want the Governing Council through their lawful action, Hamilton, Odom, and Co. They signed the petition on their behalf. Mr. Speaker, the petition is calling on this House for intervention on the environment that is devastated, that their groundwater aquifer is contaminated as a result of their activities from this company. And so they are calling for fair and adequate compensation and proper restoration of their environment. So, Mr. Speaker, I sought your aid to lay the petition at the table. What is it? I said it's signed by the lawful actor, Hamilton, Yeme.
In his remark, Speaker Mehule referred both petitions to the House Committee on Public Complaints and petitions for investigations and assured that the Assembly would ensure fairness and justice for the affected communities. The House also gave first reading to the Rivers State Climate Change Bill 2025, jointly sponsored by the Speaker Amehule and Deputy Speaker Dulemo. The bill seeks to mainstream climate change actions, establish the State Council on Climate Change, and create a legal framework for environmental management in the state. Presenting the bill, Deputy Speaker Dulemo said the proposed law would significantly strengthen efforts to combat growing impact of climate change across Rivers State.
Mr. Speaker, this morning I rise to present the Rivers State Climate Change Bill 2025 H1. Mr. Speaker, the bill is sponsored by the sponsors of the bill are Right Honorable Martin G.A. Amehule, Right Honorable Mr. Speaker, this bill has 36 clauses and one schedule. Mr. Speaker, this bill has a citation, and the citation will read: the bill may be cited as the Rivers State Climate Change Bill 2025 H1. Mr. Speaker, by your kind permission, I sought to lay the bill at the table.
In his remark, Speaker Amehule noted that the bill marks a crucial step in addressing environmental challenges and called on lawmakers to thoroughly examine it ahead of the next legislative session.
Tuesday, 11th of November 2025, at 10 a.m. Clerk also ensured that all the standing committees, the leaders, and all the standing committees of the House should continue with their duties. Clerk take legislative notice of all those facilities and ensure that they are properly recorded.
This session underscored the Assembly's rising focus on environmental protection, corporate accountability, and community welfare in Rivers State. I am Johnson Wale, Atlantic Television Network, Port Harcourt.
Rivers State Governor Sir Siminalayi Fubara has approved the immediate implementation of skipping and accoutrement allowances for health workers covering 2023, 2024, and 2025. He also gave approval for the payment of residency grants to medical doctors under the Rivers State Government Service. The governor made the announcement during a meeting with leaders of the Association of Resident Doctors at the Rivers State University Teaching Hospital in Port Harcourt. Governor Fubara said the initiative forms part of his commitment to reposition the state's health sector and promotes the welfare of medical professionals. He assured that more healthcare workers would be employed to boost service delivery across the state, adding that payment of arrears of adjusted convents and CONHES for 2023 would be prioritized. The meeting was attended by the Health Commissioner, Dr. Adeze Ore, Chief Medical Director of RSUTH, Professor Chizindu Aliko, Director of Medical Services, Dr. Vincent Nwachukwum, as well as representatives of the Nigerian Medical Association and Medical and Dental Consultants Association of Nigeria. Rivers State University Public Speaking and Debate Society hosted the RSU Dolphins Challenge on Thursday, November 6th, bringing together distinguished figures in the educational sector and brilliant students with passion and zeal for oratory excellence. Our 18 correspondent Happiness Felix completes this report.
RSU Dolphins Challenge celebrates excellence in debate oratory. The Rivers State University Public Speaking and Debate Society hosted the RSU Dolphins Challenge on Thursday, November 6th, bringing together distinguished figures in the educational sector and brilliant students with passion and zeal for oratory excellence. The event commenced with the introduction of the host, followed by the recognition of dignitaries, judges, and contestants. An opening prayer, the national and club anthems, and welcome remarks by Dr. Harcourt, the LOC chairman and convener, set the tone for the day. In his welcome address, Dr. Harcourt appreciated the presence of all guests and commended the organizers for their dedication.
Well, now I don't know whether to welcome you, but we have come to the end of this week-long event. I want to appreciate each and every one of you for all the energy and time you have spent being here with us. I understand that it's not easy to leave home and then come and say somewhere where you're trying to manage. But I'm hoping that we're able to keep you as comfortable as possible.
Dr. Chinyere Igwe, Pro-Chancellor of Ignatius Ajuru University, in his remark, encouraged the team to remain committed to grooming future leaders.
Therefore, very optimistic that this week-long event, as is taking place, revive the spirit of debate and lead a great lot of you to a better future that is to come. I would therefore congratulate the President, the leadership of this association, and the local organizing committee putting up a wonderful package. Please continue in this spirit so that our future leaders.
The RSU Vice Chancellor, speaking on behalf of the Student Council, praised the organizers and emphasized the importance of debate as a tool for societal development. Also, the Associate Professor A.A. Owade, Chairman of ANUDC, expressed gratitude for the warm reception and lauded the efforts of the logistics and hospitality teams, describing ANUDC as more than a competition, a movement.
It is about shaping the mind, expanding knowledge, and developing the discipline and teamwork that prepare you for leadership beyond university walls. We also celebrate Lagos State University for the generosity shown through the cash prizes introduced and recognition extended. Dr. Minister.
In an interview anchored by Happiness Felix, our in-house correspondent, organizers and participants expressed their excitement about the event and shared their expectation for its outcome and impact. Participants from both the debate and public speaking categories reflected on their journey so far and shared what they hope to achieve at the grand finale, including the anticipation of the coveted grand prize.
This is Dolphin Challenge. It is a debate open that invites students across Nigeria, not only Nigeria, across Africa, to compete and to sharpen their intellectual skills. It serves as a kind of championship before the main championship that is coming up next year. It's the same school, September. So it's a nice gathering where we have students network and also engage themselves in intellectual contest.
I think that it's grand. It's the first time we're having this in all of the School Debate Society's history, so it's a good one for us. At the end of this event, we hope to achieve more awareness. Of course, this is going to go around that there was a closing dinner.
Okay, the Dolphin Challenge is the first of its kind here at River State University. It's an open tournament for debate and public speaking, where speakers from all across Nigeria come together to demonstrate their prowess.
We are hoping that the champions will emerge from the competition that started on Monday. We've had several rounds, and people have since then gone head to head in both debate and public speaking. They've had exchange of ideas.
The main event was when the debaters took the stage with confidence and brilliance, presenting thought-provoking arguments that captivated the audience. A short intermission saw the Vice Chancellor present gifts to previous participants, showcasing eloquence and creativity while judges compiled the final results. Winners were announced and honored with awards for excellence in both debate and public speaking. The atmosphere was charged with excitement and celebration as participants congratulated one another and shared moments of joy with their peers and loved ones. I am Happiness Felix, Atlantic Television Network, Port Harcourt.
Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Shehu Mohammed, has urged motorists across Nigeria to adopt safer driving habits and take personal responsibility for protecting lives and property on the road. Mohammed made the call in Port Harcourt during the flag-off of the 2025 Ember Months Road Safety Campaign themed Take Responsibility for Your Safety, Stop Distracted Driving. He said the campaign aims to reduce road crashes and fatalities often associated with the festive season by encouraging safer attitudes among all categories of road users. He disclosed that between January and September 2025, Nigeria recorded 7,715 road traffic crashes, representing a 10.04% increase compared to 7,011 crashes within the same period in 2024. However, in Rivers State, within the same period, 15 persons were said to have been killed and 51 injured in 47 reported crashes. The Corps Marshal said the figure represents a 35.7% decrease in fatalities and a 37.5% decrease in crash-related injuries compared to 2024. Mohammed said the choice of Rivers State for the national flag-off was deliberate, given the state's position as one of Nigeria's busiest transport corridors. He assured that the Corps had mobilized its personnel nationwide to ensure a safer travel environment during the Ember months through intensified patrols, enforcement, and public enlightenment. Declaring the campaign open, Governor Siminalayi Fubara said the responsibility for road safety lies not only with the government agencies, but with every motorist and citizen. Anambra State government has called on all eligible voters across the state to come out in mass and actively participate in the governorship election scheduled for Sunday. The government emphasized that full voter participation is a fundamental expression of civic responsibility and a vital demonstration of commitment to democratic governance. In a press statement on Friday, the State Commissioner for Information, Law, MEFO, said active participation in this election is particularly important to reverse the low voter turnout recorded during the 2021 governorship election, when only about 200,000 of the over 2.7 million registered voters exercised their franchise. ATN had reported that the Independent National Electoral Commission had declared full readiness for the governorship election in the 5,718 wards across the state. The chairman of the commission, Professor Joash Amupitan, during a stakeholders meeting in Oka, said about 24,000 ad hoc staff will be deployed, while about 540 journalists have been accredited to cover the election, adding that the commission is fully committed to the governorship poll in line with its commitments to credible and inclusive elections. According to INEC, 16 candidates from 16 political parties are contesting the governorship election to wrest power from the incumbent Professor Chukwuma Soludo, who is also seeking re-election under the platform of APGA. Ahead of the governorship election taking place across Anambra State on Sunday, many residents of the state besieged various markets early Friday to make last-minute purchases. Although the restriction of movements that usually accompanies election exercises has not been officially announced by the authorities concerned, residents anticipate that there will be no movement on Saturday. Hence, they are making last-minute purchases to avoid being caught unawares. ATN gathered that activities at markets in major cities, including Onitsha, Nnewi, Obosi, Ekwolobia, and Awka, recorded a high volume of buyers and sellers engaging in one transaction or the other. Apart from the markets, various motor parks also bubbled with heavy activity as commuters were seen traveling to their various destinations where they intend to cast their votes. Newsmen who visited the motor park at Unizik Junction Market along the Onitsha-Awka Enugu Expressway, Goodness and Mercy Motor Park in Opa Iweka, Onitsha, and New Triangle in Nnewi, among others, on Friday, observed the heavy presence of commuters waiting to board vehicles to their various destinations. There was also a heavy movement of security personnel with armored vehicles and increased security presence at strategic locations across the states. International Press Center and the Center for Media and Society have reaffirmed their commitment to ensuring transparent and credible polls through the Anambra Election Observation Hub. The initiative comes under the European Union EU Support for Democratic Governance in Nigeria program, Phase 2. A statement made available to journalists on Friday by the leadership of IPC The initiative aims to monitor the election in real time, protect journalists, and counter misinformation that could undermine the process. With more than 2.8 million registered voters expected to cast their ballots across 5,718 polling units in 21 local government councils. The two organizations, according to the statement, have been using radio and television engagements to urge key stakeholders, particularly the Independent National Electoral Commission and security agencies, to guarantee journalist safety and freedom to operate during the polls. Calling for increased voter education on election day procedures, the Observation Hub said the duo will coordinate press briefings, field monitoring, and live media assessments across traditional and digital platforms. The hub will facilitate a rapid response mechanism which will allow swift identification and escalation of election-related incidents such as threats to journalists, voter suppression, or disinformation. Observers deployed across all 21 local government areas will send real-time reports to guide timely interventions. Senatorial by-election on August 16, 2025, with similar incidents reported in Nnewi, South, Agwata, Ihiala, and Orumba South. These developments highlight the urgent need for authorities to guarantee a safe environment for media professionals to report freely and without fear, IPC and CIMESCO stated. Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Olohundare Jimoh, has reiterated that political activist and former presidential candidate Omoyele Sowore remains wanted by the police, with the detectives to arrest him wherever he may be found. Speaking with journalists during the show of force of the 3rd Mainland Bridge on Friday, CP Jimoh said the police had intensified security across the state to prevent a recurrence of the violent protest witnessed on September 8. He described the ongoing exercise as a confidence-building operation to assure residents of their safety. CP Jimoh revealed that the police had received intelligence reports about plans by Sowore and his associates to stage protests aimed at disrupting public peace, but officers acted swiftly to foil the plan. The police boss said that the activists had been evading arrest. The CP's comments followed controversy that erupted on November 3rd when police announced Sowore was wanted. Sowore, however, rejected the wanted status and described it as unlawful. In a statement, he argued that no police officer, including the commissioner, has the power to declare someone wanted without a court-issued warrant. He further claimed that the declaration stemmed from police officers' failure to execute the alleged shoot at site order during the Oworon Shoki protest, but the CP emphasized that the police had the constitutional authority to declare anyone wanted if their actions threatened public safety. Olubadan of Ibadan land, Oba Rashidi Ladoga, on Friday elevated 5 traditional chiefs in the Olubadan line. The ceremony was held at the Olubadan Palace, Okea Remo, in the Ibadan North local government area of Oyo State. ATM reports that event was the first official traditional function to be performed by the 44th Olubadan. Ladoja became Olubadan following the demise of the 43rd Olubadan, Oba Owolabi Olakunleyin, who joined his ancestors on Monday, 7 July 2025, at the age of 90 years. Newsmen who attended the event reports that the elevated are OC Olubadan, Oba Eddie Foko, who had been promoted to the position of Otun Olubadan, Asipa Olubadan, Oba Kola Daisy promoted to the position of OC Olubadan, and Ekeri Olubadan, Oba Hamidu Ajibade, also promoted to the position of Asipa Olubadan. Others are Oba Moritala Akande, the Ekarun Olubadan, promoted as Ekerin Olubadan, and Chief Kola Babalola, the Abese Olubadan, who has been elevated as the Ekarun Olubadan. New Nigeria People's Party says it will hold its primary election December 13, 2025, where its candidates for the 2026 governorship election will be chosen. The state chairman of the party, Mr. Tosin Odeyemi, made this announcement in a statement on Friday in Osogbo, the state capital, on Friday. Odeyemi, who said arrangements had been made for a successful primary election, declared that the NNPP would not just participate in the next governorship poll, but would work hard to emerge victorious at the election. Giving other details about the party's activities ahead of the governorship poll, the NNPP chairman said, "We have not less than 4 aspirants, and many people are still informing us of their interest to join us." Speaking further on the NNPP's chances, Odeyemi said the party is a new bride in Osun as it is harvesting from the present crisis in the ruling People's Democratic Party and the sharp division within the All Progressives Congress due to the allegation of a planned imposition of a candidate. Benue State Police Command has apprehended 2 suspects in possession of human parts. This was disclosed by the State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Emenari Ifeanyi, while briefing journalists in Makurdi. He said the suspects were arrested on October 2022 in Opoku, local government area of the state, by the Benue State Civil Protection Guards, who later handed them over to the police. Emenari said the suspects were caught with human parts, including head, lap, and heart, and have since been charged to court after investigation. The Commissioner of Police further relieves that between mid-September and the end of October, 181 suspects were arrested in connection with various crimes. He added that within the period under review, the command recorded 14 homicide cases, 12 armed robberies, 4 kidnappings, 16 banditry or terrorism-related incidents, and 3 cult-related cases. A total of 15 firearms, 67 rounds of ammunition, 3 stolen vehicles, and 23 rescued. Kidnapped victims were recovered during various operations, he said. The commissioner noted that sustained clearance operations in the Sankara axis covering Katsina, Ala, Okom, and Lagos led to the arrest of over 70 banditry suspects, the destruction of criminal hideouts, and the return of displaced residents to their homes and farms. Ifeanyi announced that a total of 445 officers and men within the community had been promoted and commended the synergy between the police and other security agencies, including Operation Well-Stroke and the Benue State Civil Protection Guards in restoring peace and order. Benue State Chapter of the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria has appealed to the federal and state governments to intervene in what it described as president attacks on its members in Ohimini local government area of the state. In a statement issued on Friday and signed by his state chairman, Ado Mohammed, the association alleged that members of the Awoli community, in collaboration with personnel of the Benue State Voter Guard, and had been launching attacks on Fulani holders' settlements in the council. Mohammed said the crisis began towards the end of August 2025 when armed individuals from the Awoli community, allegedly supported by members of the Volunteer Guard, carried out a coordinated attack on Fulani settlements. The Magban chairman alleged that the attacks had continued in recent weeks, leading to further loss of livestock and displacement of herders, while refuting reports that herders had also attacked local farmers. Mohammed claims that the ongoing violence, burning of settlements, and killings were being perpetrated by criminal elements within the council. He said the situation had created fear and tension among Fulani communities and its environs, describing the headers as peaceful and law-abiding citizens. Mohammed called on the state governor, Reverend Father Hyacinth Aliyah, to direct security agencies to restore calm in the affected areas. He also urged the Inspector General of Police, the Chief of Army Staff, and the Director General of the Department of State Services to investigate the attacks and bring the perpetrators to justice. Niger State Governor Mohammed Umaru Bago has approved the immediate dissolution of the Niger State Universal Basic Education Board, NSUBEB. This is contained in a statement issued by the Secretary to the State Government, Alhaji Abubakar Usman in Mina. He explained that the decision was part of the administration's ongoing efforts to reposition and strengthen the education sector for enhanced efficiency, accountability, and improved service delivery. The statement directed all the members of the dissolved board, including the secretary, to hand over all official documents, assets, and responsibilities of the board to the permanent secretary, Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. The statement said Governor Bago expresses appreciation to the outgoing board members and the secretary for their service and contributions to the growth and development of basic education in the state, and wish them success in their future endeavors. Jigawa Command of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons say it has rescued 221 victims of human trafficking in the state in 2 years. The agency's commander in the state, Abdulader Turajo, disclosed this at a one-day sensitization campaign against human trafficking in Kazara on Friday. According to Turajo, the victims were rescued and reunited with their respective families after the establishment of the command in July 2023. He added that the command has also, within the period, recorded 2 convictions and conducted 175 sensitization programs in various communities, schools, places of worship, motor parks, and markets across the state. ATN reports that the exercise was organized in partnership with Jigawa State Ministry for Local Government and Community Development. The campaign is part of the aggressive zonal grassroots sensitization campaign for critical stakeholders in the 27 local government areas of the state, to be conducted in 3 phases. According to the commander, the program will be conducted in 3 phases. The one held today, being Friday, in Kazare, being the first phase, is for 12 local government areas from Jigawa Northwest. You're watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We will be back after this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. This is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. President Bola Tinubu has asserted that Nigeria will not be intimidated amid growing international concern over allegations of Christian genocide in the country. In a statement shared on his verified X account on Friday, the president reaffirmed Nigeria's sovereignty and determination to confront its challenges with composure and resolve. His remarks follow the recent threat from United States President Donald Trump, who warned of potential military action over alleged attacks on Christians in Nigeria. Tinubu acknowledged that terrorism remains a persistent issue, but assured citizens that the government is fully committed to defeating it. He stressed that national security is a top priority and reaffirmed his administration's commitment to maintaining peace and protecting all citizens. The president called on Nigeria's international partners to sustain their support and cooperation, emphasizing that collaboration is vital to building on the progress achieved so far. The statement comes after Trump designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern, citing claims of widespread persecution and violence against Christians. Former President Goodluck Jonathan on Friday reflected on his political journey, describing it as a remarkable transformation he considered a miracle. Speaking at the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs in Lagos during the presentation of books authored by journalist and former presidential spokesperson Dr. Reuben Abati, Jonathan recounted his rapid rise from deputy governor to president within 4 years, attributing his political success to divine intervention. He also commended Abati for his intellectual contributions and for documenting his experiences in the government. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo, who chaired the event, praised Abati's evolution from journalist to political aide and author. He emphasized the enduring importance of truth as a foundation for personal growth and nation building, urging Abati to continue pursuing excellence and meaningful impact. Book reviewer Louis Odion described the three works as reflective of Nigeria's highs and lows, portraying both the country's struggles and its potential for unity and progress. In his remarks, Abati promised that more revealing publications about the Jonathan presidency would be released in the future. Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Benjamin Kalu, has called on Nigerian youths to let their courage, strategic thinking and competence define enduring leadership, urging them to remain committed to lifelong learning of leadership skills to move the nation forward. Kalu stated while receiving a delegation from Bridge Leadership Foundation on a courtesy in his office in Abuja. The visiting delegation were graduates of a 6-month intensive leadership training program for Nigerian youths conducted by the foundation. According to the Deputy Speaker, as emerging leaders, youths must understand that influence is earned, not inherited, adding that true leadership is measured by one's ability to translate ideas into action, to negotiate across differences without compromising principles, and to ensure that policies achieve tangible results. He said to understand the weight of responsibility that comes with leadership, we must confront the reality before us that demands courage, clarity, and the engagement of Nigeria's greatest assets, adding that Nigerian youths have a great stake in Nigeria's democracy and leadership sphere because Nigeria has a remarkably young population. The Deputy Speaker said reports by NBS indicates that nearly 70% of Nigeria's population is under 35, and globally, youth number almost 1.8 billion, adding that in Africa, over 60% are under 25. He said despite this demographic dividend, youths remain underrepresented in governance.
Yet, despite this demographic dividend, youths still remain underrepresented in governance. In the 10th National Assembly, fewer than 4% of seats in this House and the Senate are held by Nigerians under age 35. This according to the report of INEC in 2023. Less than 1% of elected positions in Nigeria are held by young people. This is according to the report of NEOS. This gap is a call to action. Our generation must lead with courage, with competence, and integrity. The future cannot wait any longer. Let's talk about then youth inclusion, legislative and federal government initiative. Since its inauguration, the 10th House of Representatives has prioritized youth inclusion as a central legislative focus. The House has sponsored and advanced key bills aimed at empowering young Nigerians, including proposals.
The program manager of the foundation and former governor of Cross River State, Senator Liel Imoke, noted that Nigeria needs leaders who have all it takes to make decisions to tackle challenges, while emphasizing on the need to train Nigerian youths in leadership skills in order to take their rightful place. He said the trainees were carefully selected from across 32 states of the Federation, adding that 25 out of the hundreds of applicants were picked and trained. According to Imoke, the trained youths have demonstrated their innate abilities to use their talents and shape decision-making and other skills needed in leadership.
And so these young people come into a fellowship program where they have various facilitators and faculty. And they spend 6 months of intense training under the program. And to meet the qualification for graduation, they must, of course, not only complete all the training that is required and all the programs, but then we have a boot camp. And the boot camp requires them to come to the center of government, which is Abuja, to see what governance can be like, to talk to leaders who can be their mentors, like your good selves, to share and listen to you and His Excellency, of course, who is an excellent model of a mentor for our young cohorts.
Chairman, House Committee on Legislative Agenda, Honorable Cyril Hart, as well as Honorable Billy Osawaru in their remarks, stressed the need for self-development by Nigerian youths, saying it is key to enable them take the mandate of leadership and contribute positively to the development of the country. Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Waidi Shaibu, says troops will sustain offensive actions until insurgents are denied all support and sanctuary. The Army Chief made the declaration during his maiden tour of the Theater Command, Operation Hadin Kai, in Maiduguri, Borno State. According to a statement signed by the Acting Director, Army Public Relations, Lieutenant Colonel Apollonia Anele, General Shaibu urged troops to intensify operations with a view to crushing the remnants of insurgents and restoring lasting peace to the northeast. Shaibu ordered them to sustain pressure on the terrorists until total victory is achieved, as he assures that the Nigerian army will leave no stone unturned in ending insurgency. According to the statement, the visit of the Army Chief is in line with President Bola Tinubu's directive to consolidate gains in the counter-terrorism and counter-insurgency campaigns. The COAS also paid a courtesy visit to His Royal Highness, the Shehu of Borno, Abubakar El-Kanemi, where he solicited continued prayers, intelligence support, and cooperation from traditional institutions and citizens to complement ongoing military operations. Responding, the Shehu of Borno commended the Nigerian army for its gallantry, sacrifices, and humanitarian interventions, particularly during the flooding incidents, which he noted. The humanitarian services rendered can never be forgotten by the people. Federal High Court in Abuja on Friday fixed November 20th for the delivery of judgment in the terrorism case brought against the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. Justice James Omotosho announced the date while ruling on the matter after Kanu failed to open his defense, having exhausted the 6 days allocated to him by the court to present his case. The judge held that since Kanu failed to utilize the opportunity granted to him to conduct his defense, he could not claim to have been denied his constitutional constitutionally guaranteed right to a fair hearing. I beg your pardon. Meanwhile, Kanu on Friday made a motion challenging his trial on the grounds that terrorism was no longer an offense in Nigeria. He said the earlier Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act had been repealed and, as such, no valid charges against him. Kanu maintained that there was no case against him and urged the courts to dismiss the charges and allow him to go home. People's Democratic Party, PDP, has inaugurated Senator Mao Ohua Bonwa, Chairman, and Honorable Issa Dansidi, Secretary, as new board of trustees, targeting reformation of the party and renewal of members' faith and ideas that gave birth to party in justice, fairness, inclusivity, and respect for the rule of law. Announcing the chairman and secretary of the BOT at the inauguration meeting on 7th November 2025 in Abuja, the acting national chairman of the party, Alhaji Abdurrahman Mohammed, chairman, said the new board of trustees inaugurated is not just a statutory organ, but a symbol of rebirth, representing collective decision to return the PDP to its moral center.
After we had our meeting with the members of BOTs across the 36 state and FCT, which the BOT members have nominated distinguished Senator Mau Ohabuha as the chairman of Board of Trustees of our great party, PDP. And also Honorable Issa Dansidi, elected as Secretary of the Board of Trustees of our great party. We are charging you with the responsibility of looking into activities of the party and liaise with the members of National Working Committee based on the Constitution of the party and the rule of law of our country, Nigeria. This Board of Trustees is not just a statutory organ. It is a symbol of rebirth and represents our collective decision to return the PDP to its moral center. The board will once again serve as the conscience and compass of this great party, offering a guidance, this courage and wisdom and impartiality. To the members of the board, this is not a reward to loyalty. It is a sacrifice and trust. The responsibility before you is enormous. To speak the truth, to power, to defend justice, and to ensure that the PDP remains a home for all Nigerians. Your voice must be a voice of unity. Your advice must be rooted in fairness, and your action must inspire confidence in our collective future.
The communique read by the newly reconstituted Board of Trustees Chairman, Senator Mao Ohuabunwa, said the meeting deliberated extensively on the recent developments within the party, particularly the implications of the landmark judgment of the Federal High Court and the forthcoming National Convention.
Party PDP, at its inaugural and emergency meeting held today, Friday, November 8, 2025 in Abuja, deliberated extensively on the recent developments within the party, particularly the implications of the landmark judgment of the Federal High Court and the forthcoming National Convention, and resolved as follows. 1. The BOT reaffirms that the PDP remains one indivisible, united, and democratic family, firmly committed to the ideals of justice, equity, and progress, the founding ethos of our great party. The BOT recognizes the authority of all legally constituent organs of this party and reiterates its confidence in the ongoing efforts to restore internal order, discipline, and constitutional adherence in line with the judgment of the Federal High Court delivered here in Abuja on October 31st, 2025. 2. The BOT directs all organs and officers of the party to ensure full and immediate compliance with the said judgment. The board commends the judiciary for its courage and professionalism in upholding the supremacy of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, the Electoral Act, the INEC guidelines, and the PDP Constitution, which remain the guiding instruments of our internal democracy. 3, the BOT affirms its support for the conduct of a credible, transparent, and inclusive national convention, provided all pre-convention processes strictly adhere to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, the Electoral Act, the INEC guidelines, the party's constitution, and the judicial pronouncement of the Federal High Court on October 31st, 2025.
According to the communique, the BOT affirms its support for the conduct of a credible, transparent, and inclusive national convention, provided all pre-convention processes strictly adhere to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, the Electoral Act, the INEC guidelines, the party's constitution, and the judicial pronouncement of the Federal High Court on October 31st, 2025.
Furthermore, the BOT reaffirms that the judgment of the Federal High Court remains superior and weightier in law than the interim order of any other court, any other state court, including the Oyo State High Court. In view of the fact that the Federal High Court judgment has been appealed, prudence and respect for judicial processes demand that the proposed National Convention be postponed until the Court of Appeal delivers its decision or judgment. That is the way to go. In recognition of its statutory role, the newly reconstituted board pledges to serve as the conscience and stabilizing moral compass of this party, ensuring that fairness, justice, and internal harmony guide all actions of the leadership at every level. The BOT shall actively mediate among stakeholders, promote inclusivity, and prevent divisive tendencies that threaten party cohesion, as looked by our leader, who had asked that every means to bring peace should be explored. 5, the board noted that the immediate past BOT chairman, Senator Adolph Nwabara, the secretary, Senator Ahmed McCarthy, haven't publicly taken positions in the ongoing intra-party crisis, can no longer continue to serve in their previous capacities in order to preserve the neutrality, integrity, and moral authority of the BOT, which is actually the mandate of the BOT, which should be the mandate of the BOT.
Please move up. Nigeria Employers Consultative Association has backed the proposed 15% fuel import tariff. NECA Director General Wale Smart Oyerinde said this on Friday, arguing that the move will enhance local production of the commodity. The federal government had approved the 15% tariff increase in a letter sent to the Federal Inland Revenue Service and the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, mandating its enforcement. While critics have faulted the move, arguing it will lead to an increase in the landing cost of the product, NECA believes the policy is a step in the right direction. According to him, similar actions should be extended to other areas. Central Bank of Nigeria has reiterated that the ongoing recapitalization of commercial banks is central to achieving the federal government's ambition of building a $1 trillion economy by 2030. The CBN Deputy Governor for Financial System Stability, Mr. Philip Ikeazo, stated this on Friday at a 3-day retreat of the Association of Corporate Affairs Managers of Banks held in Abeokuta, Ogun State. He described the recapitalization policy as a journey, not a destination, stressing that the objective is to build banks that are not only bigger but stronger, well-governed and inclusive. Represented by Mr. Ibrahim Hassan, Ikeazo said the true goal of the exercise is not merely to create bigger banks, but better banks, banks that are safe, sound, innovative, and inclusive. He added that well-capitalized banks would boost national development, enhance competitiveness, and improve the sector's ability to withstand domestic and global economic shocks. Recalling the 2005 recapitalization that reduced Nigerian banks from 89 to 25 and strengthened the industry. Ike also noted that the current reforms are part of broader efforts to reposition the sector under the leadership of CBN Governor Mr. Olayemi Kaduso. Chinese President Xi Jinping has congratulated Cameroon's President Paul Biya following his re-election, reaffirming the strong and long-standing ties between the two countries. According to a report obtained by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs website on Friday, Xi highlighted the traditional friendship shared by China and Cameroon, noted that the two nations have in recent years strengthened political trust and achieved fruitful cooperation across multiple sectors. The message underscores China's continuing commitment to strengthening its partnership with Cameroon, reflecting broader efforts to enhance engagement with Africa through diplomatic, economic, and cultural cooperation. He emphasized that China and Cameroon have consistently supported each other on core interests and major concerns. Xi pointed out that 2026 will mark the 55th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the two countries, describing it as an opportunity for further advanced bilateral relations. He expressed China's readiness to work with President Biya to implement the outcomes of the Beijing summit of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, aiming to deepen the comprehensive strategic partnership and ensure that cooperation brings tangible benefits to both peoples. Iran on Friday strongly condemned what it described as savage Israeli attacks on Lebanon after Israel launched fresh strikes against positions linked to the Iran-backed Hezbollah movement in southern Lebanon. In a statement, the Iranian Foreign Ministry called on the United Nations, the international community, and regional governments to confront what it termed Israel's warmongering, while offering condolences over the deaths of Lebanese civilians in the attacks. Israel confirmed on Thursday that it had struck several Hezbollah targets in southern Lebanon, saying the strikes were aimed at preventing the group from rearming following heavy losses during past clashes, including the death of its leader Hassan Nasrallah last year. Although Israel and Lebanon signed a ceasefire deal in November 2024 to end more than a year of hostilities, Israel maintains that it reserves the right to act against any Hezbollah threats. The Lebanese Health Ministry reported one death from Thursday's bombardments at Tehran. Hezbollah's principal backer has also been the target of a recent Israeli and U.S. airstrikes on its nuclear facilities during a 12-day conflict in June, further heightening tensions across the region. Mikel Arteta says Arsenal are expecting a tough challenge when they face Sunderland on Saturday, November 8, as the Gunners look to extend their winning run to 11 matches across all competitions. Gabriel Jesus is also approaching a long-awaited return from injury following Tuesday's 3-0 victory over Slavia Prague. Arsenal equaled the record for consecutive clean sheets by an English club with 8, and Arteta wants his side to maintain their high standards at the Stadium of Light. Despite the impressive run, Arteta insists there is still room for improvement, and Sunderland, unbeaten at home this season, awaits. A win would extend Arsenal's lead at the top of the Premier League table to 9 points, ahead of Manchester City clash with Liverpool on Sunday, but Arteta downplayed talk of title dominance. Arteta said several other players, including Victor Gyökeres, Gabriel Martinelli, Kai Havertz, Noni Madueke, and Martin Odegaard, remain injury doubts, but he expects most to be close to returning after the international break. Bayer Leverkusen forward Victor Boniface has addressed his recent struggles with the Nigerian national team, affirming his commitment to the Super Eagles despite a challenging run of form. In an interview with sports journalist, Boniface acknowledged that his performances for Nigeria have not met expectations, particularly in terms of goal scoring. He admitted to experiencing difficult moments, but expressed gratitude for the opportunity to represent his country. The striker emphasized that his lack of goals for the national team does not define his overall quality as a player, noting that he remains determined to contribute positively to the team's success. Fiorentina on Friday named Paolo Vanoli as the club's new coach after Stefano Pioli was sacked following a winless start to the season in Serie A. The 53-year-old Vanoli had been without a club since leaving Torino in the summer after just one season in charge. He had previous spells coaching Spartak, Moscow and Venezia. The former Italy international takes over a team at the bottom of the table with just 4 points from 10 matches, with Fiorentina off to their worst top flight start in club history. Vanoli's first game at the helm will be against another struggling side in Genoa on Sunday. Fiorentina are the third Serie A club to make a coaching change this season. Juventus replaced Igor Tudor with former Italy and Napoli boss Luciano Spalletti last week, while Genoa have brought in Daniel De Rossi to replace Patrick Vieira. Nigerian singer Omaomi has spoken candidly about her relationship with late rapper Da Green and late producer Dr. Fraps. Recall that there were rumors that Omaomi and Da Green were dating after the release of their collaborative hit Thank God in 2009. Speaking in a recent interview, Omaomi clarified that her relationship with the late rapper was platonic. She explained that she had a cordial relationship with Da Green and they often hanged out when he was alive. The singer, however, admitted that she dated late producer Dr. Fraps. Da Green died in an auto crash in April 2010, while Dr. Fraps passed away in 2021. And that's the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. Rivers Assembly receives petitions, considers climate change bill. Court fixes date for judgment in Kanu's terrorism trial. Tinubu rejects intimidation amid global Christian genocide claims. NECA supports 15% fuel import tariff to boost local refining. Iran condemns Israeli strikes on Lebanon, urges global action. Boniface addresses Super Eagles struggles, reaffirms commitment to Nigeria. Omaomi speaks on relationships with the Green, Dr. Fraps. I am Francis Necker. Thank you for watching. You can follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter now, X at Atlantic TV Net, Facebook and YouTube on Atlantic Television Network, Instagram at Atlantic TV Network. Remember, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching.